Okay, let us start the session. Good evening and a warm welcome to our masters, Brother Joe Huang, brothers and sisters around the globe, to online book study on the Sutra of Infinite Meanings. Today, I would like to share Master Ching Yen's daily words of wisdom, accepted from Master Ching Yen's speech. The power of great love spreads throughout the world. With reverence in our hearts each day, we treat others with love, hoping that everyone may walk together upon the Tzu path. Tzu carried out the Master's teachings accordingly. The shared voice of Tzu volunteers worldwide brings deep comfort. This lifetime is thus rendered truly meaningful. Healthcare professionals safeguard life, protect health, and uphold love, manifesting the value of life through selfless dedication. Such noble compassion is beyond words of gratitude. Though 1,000 words are spoken, our hope remains. May the power of love spread throughout the world. 感恩 for Master's teaching. Thank you for listening. Before we hear the wonderful sharing, let us invite our Masters to lead us in paying homage to Triple Gems. Let us pay our respect for these teachings and explanations to the Buddha and Master Ching Yen by making 3 sincere bows. Please rise, palms together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. And a bow to our beloved Abode Masters who could join us today. Now let us invite Brother Robert to kindly introduce this session and our presenters. Over to you, Brother Robert. 感恩。
感恩 Sister Lily, for the wonderful sharing of our Master's teachings to start our sharing today. Good evening, brothers and sisters. My name is Brother Robert. Brother Sean Tan, are you in already? Sister Lily, is Brother Sean in already?
Okay, wait for let me call contact Brother Sean.
Sure. For those who have not joined us during our earlier session, I think this particular book study is done in honor of a promise made in 2017 to the late Brother Michael Xiao. And now in the loving memory of him, we are restarting the Sutra adaptation of this book study, featuring 20 episodes from the Dai series alongside reflections from the Tzu Grand Sutra. This initiative was first led by Sister June and the Sutra Infinite Meanings book sharing team. And we are truly grateful for their support. So with Sister June's blessing, we begin again with episode 1, So each episode, I think if you watch the video that we have shared, is approximately about 12 minutes. And then we will have a different presenter to share. And then we will have a bit of reflection by Brother Joe Huang as well, and a bit of an interactive session among us, that we can ask some questions. Okay. So are we ready, Sister? Oh, still trying to get Brother Sean Tan, isn't it? Today's episode is going to be on great love housing, from 1 to infinity. And from a humble act of compassion, great love housing grew into a force that rebuilt lives. So together, countless hearts create safe homes and renewed hope In fact, back yesterday, I think another Great Love Housing ceremony, in fact, groundbreaking ceremony, was just planted at Kapila Vastu, which is about 2 hours, one hour drive from Lumbini, the place where Buddha was born in Kapila Vastu. Yeah, so a group of volunteers from Malaysia and Singapore, and of course our Taiwan Vice President VP Lin was there together with the whole team, yeah, to do the groundbreaking ceremony, including a lot of local monks and nuns near Nepal, and of course we have the ceremony was, if you can watch the video, I think the video is already out on this groundbreaking ceremony. So this will be one of the latest lah, yeah, Great Love Housing that we are doing, yeah.
Brother
Yeah,
Sean is joining.
joining, okay,
Yeah.
good.
I think GPYD is Brother Sean. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
hi, Brother
Okay,
Sean.
okay.
Okay,
Hi.
yeah, I'll continue my introduction of you
Yeah.
first. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Our presenter today is a proud Malaysian Malacca youth, trained in biotechnology at universities in both Malaysia and Taiwan, beautifully demonstrating that science and compassion can indeed walk hand in hand. He is an exceptionally diligent lay practitioner and is deeply involved in global partnership and youth development, bringing both insight and heartfelt dedication to his work. We are truly grateful to have him with us today, and we are confident that his sharing will nourish not only our minds but our hearts as well. So please join me in warmly welcoming Brother Sean Tan. I think you have another two more titles: Special Assistant to the CEO of the Buddhist Tzu Chi Foundation, and also the Deputy Director for Global Partnership and Youth Development. So over to you, Brother Sean.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Brother Robert. And thank you, Sister Siu Chin, for inviting me to share today. It is my great honor to share today's topic. So I'm going to share my slide now. Wait for a moment. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I'll be using Canva for my sharing. Let me go to the slide. So here. Okay, so here. Okay, so good evening, everyone. So you can see my slide, right?
Yes.
Maybe I have to because I've got 1 minute video later. So I'm going to share sound. Okay, should be all good right now. Okay, thank you so much. Yep. So today I'm going to share the Great Love Housing from one to infinity, which is the topic for today. And I will try to connect the content with the Sutra of Infinite Meaning. So Ray, thank you so much for having me to share here. In our Sutra that Master always hoping us to learn from this Sutra of Infinite Meaning, which is a path for Bodhisattva. So how can we see the Sutra, which Master always says that 经者道也，道者不也. The Sutra is a path that we should take along the way. So how can we see the Sutra from what the works that we have in Tzu Chi? So today I'm going to connect specifically on the Great Love Housing to the Sutra. So for now, Tzu Chi, we are reaching 60th anniversary right now. So we have been building Great Love Housing in 19 countries, and we have reaching 24,355 households till now. There are more upcoming right now, even in Taiwan, in some other country like Mozambique. We are still building Great Love Housing still now. So it actually begins so early before. I mean, almost 50 years before. But the latest one that we got recently just finished the inaugurations last month, which is 15th of November. We got one in Hualien. So that's not too far away from the train station. We have got one just finished building last month. And this building is so so nice that some of our staff, Tzu Chi staff, went in, and then they wish that how good if our staff hostel can be that great. So the recipient doesn't need to bring anything into the house. There's all equipped with the facilities, tables, chairs, refrigerator, air conditioners, beds, and everything, almost everything. So they just need to bring their backpack with their own clothing, and that's all. So they can start their life once they are entering the building. So that's the latest one. We actually trying to have a new model for the Great Love Housing right now. Comparative to our previous model. Right now, this building is actually built by Tzu Chi, but owned by the state government. Why we need to do so? This is a recent model that we have developed to have the land donate by the government. Ownership belongs to all the recipients, but they are not owning that house. They can't sell in the house. So they can stay and then they can continuously pass it to the next generations, but they are not able to sell it to the to others people. So the building, the housing will be permanently holding by the recipient. But if their next generations or next generations, third generations doesn't want to continue staying here, the building itself will be becoming the social housing, providing to the disabilities, to the elderlies. Because in Taiwan, we know that lots of family they doesn't having next generations. So we are going into the super aging generations. So this is a little bit different. So we can see there's a changing for the weightless housing from the first one that which is owned by the recipient, but right now gradually change depends on the environment and also the culture. So this was the earthquake. So we got earthquake just last year, April 3rd, and then we built it just about this, and then we are actually having them to come into the building within 1.5 years. So we consider quite fast, but comparatively, in the old days that we have disaster, this is kind of like consistently the Tzu Chi model. We try to make things fast because we are masters always mentions about we have to treat the recipients like our family members. So we have to be that fast because they are staying somewhere else, maybe in the hostel, maybe in the hotel, or like their relative housing. So we try to be fast. The first housing that we have, the first ever Great Love House in Tzu Chi's story, it was 1967. So this is a short.
1967年10月17号，谢拉台风登陆台湾，花莲狂风暴雨，上人的心悬在木瓜溪畔。果真，风雨停歇之后，木瓜溪畔这间本来就破旧的茅草屋，经过狂风暴雨的肆虐，早就摇摇欲坠了。阿抛老先生一个人坐在屋子里，无助孤独。上人心想，这样下去不是办法，我要替他盖一间房子。然而，盖一间房子是多么困难的事情，甚至听起来就像是天方夜谭。因为当年慈济照顾的家庭越来越多了，每个月的慈善基金已经捉襟见肘，而上人呢，他自己也没有房子。 他跟弟子借住在普明寺里，所以那是一个自己都没有家，却想要给别人一个家的
not
概
knowing
念。
one's own
在世
ability,
俗的眼
or
光
in
看来，就
the
叫
the
自不量
video
力。
Sister Tucci mentions about because those days masters doesn't got any. I mean, she's still staying in the temple next to the boat. So she doesn't own any housing that time, but
1967
she
年，
wants to build a house for the recipient. So so masters says that it is kind of like not knowing one's own ability. So the people around, and also some villagers, neighbors, people around in Hualien, saying, masters, you are not knowing your own ability. You doesn't even own your own temple. You are staying others people temple, but you want to build house for other people. So even though some donors, or like the people around in Hualien, they'll think that this is scam. This will not happen. Because in 1967, this is not in 2025 Tzu Chi 59th anniversary. This is the second year of Tzu Chi founded. So you can see less than 400 days. This is just like 30 housewives donating 50 cents to those days. And then they have like maybe less than hundreds volunteer that day, that time. And then masters want to build a house. This is not like today. In 1967 in Hualien, it is so rural and not much people staying there. Even now in Hualien, we have only 33,000 people staying in Hualien. The whole county itself has only 33,000, 330,000. Sorry, yes, 330,000. So 330,000 populations in today, but 50 years before, or almost 6 years before, they might be less than 200,000. So the people there is so not much, and then the donations is not too many, and the volunteers maybe less than 100 people, but masters want to build a house for the care recipient. So that's a story. The story that masters always mention, 转动须弥山. There was an ant, and then telling the Buddha, says that, oh, my strength is limited. I can't move the mountain. So the Buddha said, don't underestimate yourself. Your strength is not as small as you think. So this is how masters always encourage disciples, all the volunteers. Don't underestimate yourself. So in 1966, Tzu Chi Merits Foundation founded, and then within 1 year, the first housing built for Mr. Lia Pao. So this is kind of like a very small buildings, but in those days, with less than 100 volunteers, and then those volunteers, they are all housewives. We didn't have any entrepreneurs that days. In Hualien, it's so rural, and then they built the house. And after 3 years, Tzu Chi founded, then only Jing's Abode get built. So you can see this is empty around the building, because in those days, they are so rural in Hualien. So in 1967, masters started that first building that actually inspired a lot of volunteers. They would think that, wow, masters is so non-self. In the Sanskrit, it said ananta, selfless. So masters in Jingse, for example, masters are telling us that believe in our own selflessness, trust in the love of others. So although masters doesn't even owning a temple that days, but she always trusts in the love of others people. So when masters initiate the building, the project to build housing for the Mr. Lia Pao, so that elderlies actually makes a lot of villagers in Hualien feel like they should do something for the people. So after the completions of the house in 1967, the neighbors started to help the old guy, Mr. Lee, and then they started to have like beds delivered for the Mr. Lee as a gift. And then some of the villagers and also neighbors giving blankets, old clothes donated to the Mr. Lee. And even the neighbors started to propose to look after the old man. So we can see in those days, less than 1 year, when Tzu Chi Foundation founded, Masters has a great vow. It's not just a vow, but initiative that actually correlates with the Sutra of Infinite Meanings in the chapter 3. The first marriage, when the time the first time when I kept possible. So in that 10 marriage, the first marriage in the sentences, it will always start that a good man, 善男子, 此经不可思议之力量. The power of the inconceivable merits of this sutra. Then it start with the content. So the first in the first merit, the sutra says that this sutra can enable bodhisattva who have not yet developed bodhicitta to develop bodhicitta. Enable those who have no loving kindness to give rise to the a mind of loving kindness. So in Mandarin, it calls 未发心者能发心，无有慈心起慈心. So it just kind of like a sentence, a normal sentence in the Sutra of Infinite Meanings. But I can't really link the Sutra itself to what we have today. So after I gradually I've starting my volunteer life and become a staff in Tzu Chi, I can see a lots of the sample that actually written in the sutra. So masters always says 经者道也，道者路也. So this is the path. Infinite Meaning Sutra is a path for us to walk through. So you can see in 1967, a lot of the people in Hualien, they are so poor and they doesn't, because that's just after 10 to 15 years after the Second World War. So Hualien is a very rural area, not much people, no any industry development there, and a lot of people, a lot of Aboriginal, and not much people understand about Buddhism. They have Buddhism, but they only citing Namo Amitabha when there's someone passing away. But no one is actually practicing Buddha's teaching. So you can see a lot of people, they doesn't understand about what is the 慈悲心, compassionate bodhicitta. They doesn't know about that. So masters doesn't just teaching the sutra itself, but practicing it. So you can see after the building of the first building housing in the Hualien in 1967, Master set a very high bar on how Tzu Chi should work on. It's not like we have the money and then we start to work on. And even today, this morning, we have a sharing with masters on what we have working on in Sierra Leone and also South Sudan. So we mentioning about we have having received a lot of donations, online donations, because we share the stories of South Sudan. And then masters remind us, remember, we are not seeking for the money first. We have to be focused on our projects to helping the needy people, but not on the donation. So that pure mind, the purest heart, the origins of the bodhicitta in master's mind doesn't change at all. In 1967, just 1 year after Tzu Chi founded, master started to think about the needy people, Mr. Lee, because he needs that house. So masters doesn't got a lot of donation, but she started to work on to get people helping the elderly to start to have building the house for him. And then that actually inspired bodhicitta in the villages, in the neighbors. And then gradually, the villagers, the neighbors that stay together with the elderlies, but doesn't helping him before that, but gradually they get inspired. They become bodhisattva. For those that who not having the loving kindness mind, that give rise to the mind of loving kindness. So that's the inspirations. So you can see before completions of the house, they are staying, I mean, they are neighbors. But after completions of the house, that actually inspired the people, which not just inspiring just for the mind, but action. They're starting to donate clothes, blankets, and helping to take care for the elderly. Not just that, in 1969, 2 years later, they have another disaster in Hualien. So Hualien, because Hualien is located at a place where we have disaster like earthquake, typhoon, a lot. So in 56 years before till now, we still have lots of disaster, earthquake here last year. So after the first building, the second is actually also near to the Jingse abode in Jiali. So Jiali is like few kilometers away from Jingse abode, and then masters started to build 3 houses in 1971. It is still not much volunteer that day, but you can see the houses is larger and larger. And then you can see in the photo that is actually 3 house. This is 1 house, and then they can accommodate for more than 1 people, because Mr. Lee, he is alone, single. So the space doesn't need to be big, but gradually masters built a larger house. And then you can see this Miss Wang, she lived there until 93 years old and passed it to the grandson for the 3rd generation. And then the grandson raised his own family members and then passed away, and then leaving the house in 2020. So the house is still there. I mean, it's still in Hualien. And I came across just opposite of our Jingse abode, before just like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, 10 minutes of walking distance or cycling distance. And then you can see the house, some of the housing is still there. So till now, the Great Love Housing is still standing well. So you can see the house that we built for the needy people, the recipients, is not like in poor quality. There's a lot of typhoon. There are lots of earthquake in Hualien, but it's still strong, stands strong. In 2009, August 8th, Morocco typhoon came into the southern part of Taiwan. That caused the causing of 899 lives were lost, and 51 510,000 people were affected in the disaster, and a lot of housing that is actually buried under the landslide. So masters helped to rebuild housing that time, but there's a dilemma happened in August 8 incidents, Morocco typhoon. So what happened that time was like there's a choice of building temporary housing or permanent housing. So there are a lot there were a lots of debate between different NGOs and also government and also some the recipients, because people would think that is kind of impossible to build a house that fast. So we should go for temporary housing. But that time, and then many people like 16 years before, things like, this is impossible. You can't build house that fast. But master said, I will try my best to build house, and then letting the victim to have permanent housing before Chinese New Year. So how far from the commitment made until the house was built is actually less than 90 days. Then we will be having like Chinese New Year. So many people, they are criticizing Tzu Chi, saying that, nah, that's impossible for you to build house that fast. But masters, with the help of all the volunteers, the result is that within 88 days, the first phase of 152 great house built. So the residents is very glad that they can move in just before the Chinese New Year. So you can see the building is so strong standstill till now. There were some earthquake recent years that nearby. I mean, like not too far away, but it is all still stand strong. But there's a song that when I was new to the Tzu Chi, I was so touched with the content. The name is The Journey of Wisdom, 慈悲的心路. So it's actually sharing how masters goes through this path. It is so hard. I mean, all the charity works that we have in Tzu Chi, people will think that, yeah, you are making good deeds, right? So you should get appraisal, or like you should get good comments from the people, but it's not a way. Many people criticizing, saying that is impossible. So a lot of criticisms that happens in between, but masters get through. And then that masters start to have like gradually, masters share, teach the disciple, teach Tzu Chi volunteers. So whenever we face the suffering, we must nurture the great compassion. Many people will think that no, that's not our it is not like necessary for us to work that hard for the people, because they are not our neighbors, they are not our friends, they are not even our relative. Why should we work so hard for them? But Masters always mentions that when in the face of suffering, we must remember, nurture the great compassion. The compassion is so important. The second, Master said, whenever we face ever-changing circumstances, that is the time that we actually nurtured our wisdom. So we must bring forth our wisdom. So whenever we face with difficulties, develop resilience. This is how the 6 paramitas that we develop along the way. So in the face of tedious process, we must learn to be patient. So when a lot of complications happen, we must appreciate others' good qualities. So that is the journeys of wisdom that Masters teaching us during the Typhoon Miracles projects. A lot of criticism, a lot of challenges that come across to the Master. But Masters teaching us not to give up, but in the pursuit of ideal, we must always strive to do better. So people will challenge us. It's okay. We must always keep in mind, this is a path of Bodhisattva. So last but not least, the final story, the cases that I want to share for this Infinite Meaning Sutra is actually started this because of Brother Shao. So I was in Philippines last year, in the in Bohol. So I can see there's a lot of story behind all those great love villages. In the Haiyan typhoon, a lot of housing that blew away, and then we start to have livelihoods. We start to have great love villages rebuilt, and then we start to have different projects to the people. And last year, when I was in Bohol, I was so inspired that this is the school that we call temporary. Still, I was with Brother Joe in Nepal. There's an earthquake, right? So we rebuilt temporary schools for the for the students. But till now, the structures and also the building is still stand still. And then even in Nepal, they're using this temporary shelter house, and then they restructure a little bit, and then they become part of the permanent schools. So it still stands strong. So this is so important that we always have to be mindful that each of the small steps, the whole, I mean, the whole path that we take. So I would like to come back to today's morning when we share with masters, share to masters our projects in South Sudan and also Sierra Leone. That is so, I mean, inspiring, because for us, we always look for the surface level. Like we want to have helping the people, and we need monies, and then we need to seek for the money. But for master, she always think differently. She started from the essence, which is compassion. Compassionate, the Bodhisattva, is actually the core value for this Bodhisattva path, which is also the essence of the Infinite Meaning Sutra. So compassion, if we, without that compassionate mindful mind, we always look at the project level. For staff like me, I always looking at how we can accomplish the goal. So to accomplish the goal, it always comes with like money, time, people, resources that we have, the limited resources that we have. And then within the resources, we start to think, what can we do? But from masters, she always think differently. This is not so different. I mean, if we have the bodhicitta, if you have the compassionate heart, you will look exactly the same like master. That is so that is so hard. I mean, for us, we can be inspired sometimes, but we are still a fanfu. We are still ordinary people. We always goes back to the normal way of thinking. So that's the reason why masters always remind us to recite Infinite Meaning Sutra. That is a guideline for us to remind ourselves, not looking at what we have right now. So even in Palo Great Love villages, even in Cebu, even in Bohol, different locations in Philippines, whenever there's a disaster, masters doesn't look at how much money the Philippines volunteers have. Masters doesn't look at how many volunteers, how can we help the people. So it always start with emergency relief, distributions, and then gradually, based on the Yuan, the people that we have there, and then if they have the great vow, masters will always continuously helping them to build more, to bring in more resources. And in this photo, you can see they're actually volunteers coming from different locations of Philippines. And then behind the scenes, there are lots of volunteers coming from different countries and then helping the Philippines from nothing, from scratch, to temporary housing, to permanent housing, and also long-term. Like till now, they are still having livelihoods. So that always comes back to compassionate. If you have the bodhicitta, you are not looking at the resources that you have, but you are looking at the people that it needs. So it goes back. So in the conclusion, I would like to finish my part using this phrase. So this sutra, I mean, in the sutra in Infinite Meaning, it says that this sutra can enable bodhicitta, and also this sutra can inspire people to give rise to mind of loving kindness, and also a lots of different merits. This is not just a sutra itself, but it's a path for us as a spiritual volunteers, as a followers of Buddha's disciple, to work in the Bodhisattva path, to always remind ourselves these infinite meanings is not just in the sutra, but it's a path that we work on. And then that's something that is happening till now. I think that's all for today's sharing from my side. Thank you so much.
Karen, so much, Brother Sean Tan, for your inspiring and deeply meaningful sharing. I guess I think based on what I understand, I think Master believe that I think the end result is not so important. It's the journey, lah. yeah, just to get the homes for people, I think is of course is our objective. I think, but the more important role is whether along the way, did we learn, did we so-called use wisdom lah, and nurture all this compassion. Yeah, Brother Sean Tan, Karen so much for generously sharing this enriching so-called sharing. Yeah, but one question, Brother Sean, compared to 2 days ago when we built the Ta'ai village at Kapila Vastu, so this the housing, I would say, is different because this is not meant for so-called disaster. I think for this so-called great love is more meant for disaster relief, right? So the Thai village is so-called in a way is a separate so-called topic altogether, right? Separate subject.
We actually help based on different reasons. But for in Nepal and also India, it's much more like a repay of Buddha's village. So we started to have the projects trying to transform their life from poor to getting better. So we want to have a new village for them that full of the Tzu Chi cultures there, with compassionate, with loving kindness. So we want to have a villages that actually applying Buddha's teaching in the Buddha's village, the homeland. So that is quite different from the great housings that we have built previously. So it depends on the reasons. But for in Nepal and also in India, because we plan to have more and more the Mahayana, the Bodhisattva path followers. So we need to have some kind of like physical things that can helping the people transforming their life. So we started to have the Great Love Housing. So it is quite different from our previous Great Love Housing projects. Yeah.
Yeah, Kanan. Yeah. And then another point I want to just correct the fact, I think Brother Chin just dropped me a note saying that Kapila Vastu is the kingdom of the Buddha's father. Yeah, not the birthplace of Prince Siddhartha. Yeah, I think I made a bit of mistake just now. Yeah, so I guess I think another important point is don't underestimate ourselves just like when the video started with that little ant so all of us are that small little ants. I think if we gather all together, I don't the belief Sangren, I think in 1967 built one small little house. So I think now we started to build houses and housing, and in 88 days a lot of impossible matters can be possible if we believe that we want to do it I think that is important this bodhisattva vow of actions. Okay, Karen, Brother Shantan. Now I would like to maybe ask anyone got any questions for our Brother Sean Tan, or that because now is our interactive session. Is there anyone got any question for Brother Sean? Please open your mic if you have.
Hello, brother.
Hi, Sterica.
Hi. My question, I heard Brother Sean saying at first people in Walian, most of the people, they never practice Buddhism. So my question is, are they practice Buddhism now? Because we've known that Buddhism is based on compassion and love, which is also spread around the world. Even here in Africa, we are benefiting from that love and care. So are they also showing the same love to the communities, or they are still exercising, or they are not willing? There are some who are not willing, or everyone now is practicing Buddhism?
Yeah, thank you, Sister Erica, for asking the questions. This is pretty good questions. In Hualien, they are majority, they are still practicing Roman Catholics. They are not a lot of Aboriginal, we have several certified Sutra volunteers, and even teaching the university students that in Donghua, which I'm accompanying this university, he's Roman Catholic. He is still practicing Roman Catholics. She doesn't change his belief. He is still the same. But what makes the difference is that they are applying the loving kindness into the daily life. It's not things like they are not practicing it before, but they get inspired. For Sutra volunteers, we have a lot of volunteers. They are not Buddhists. And even now, we have our volunteers. There are lots of them. Some of them, we have several Sutra volunteers coming from South Africa, Durban. Just came back today. I met them today, and some of them they are till now they are still Christian. And then we have someone they are pastor or like father. They are still continuing preaching God's love. But they makes no difference, you know. I just came back from Abu Dhabi and the Vatican last month, few weeks ago, and then I'm so inspired. I'm so inspired with the teaching in the Bible because it looks so similar. I can't say it 100% same, but the belief itself is so similar. Because in Christians, there's a word called caritas. Caritas is a way to practicing putting God's love into actions. And in Muslim, so usually, I mean in Malaysia, we will listen about when they start the teaching at the praying, they will say Bismillah, Rahman, Rahim. Rahman, the most merciful, the most compassionate, which is the name of the God for which Allah. I mean, in Muslim. So the Ar-Rahman, the compassionate, which is the same, exactly the same with caritas, and also the same in Buddhism we call compassionate. So what makes the people different is not changing of the religion, but it's the change of the actions. I can tell a lot of the volunteers now in Hualien, which they are still Aboriginal, they are still continue applying, practicing their own religion. They are not converting. Even my because I'm not close to those volunteers because I'm always accompany the youth volunteers. The volunteers that I'm accompanying right now, he's actually Aboriginal in Hualien, and he actually start to practice. I mean, trying to changing his way of life through the Bodhisattva path. It's not changing the religion itself. So I just giving him the holy water. I bought it from Vatican and gave it to him as a gift to remind him that not like abandon the religions that you have, but to remind yourself that the God's teaching, which is also the same value that we have in Christians and in Buddhism, is about compassion and putting that into actions. So I think that is the things that really inspired me.
That's really nice. I really love the fact that there's two people who acknowledge also, because even me sometimes I feel like some other stories in the Bible and the way our master she's doing it's so similar, because the key word is love and helping communities, which is what even the Bible is saying about care about your brother and sister, be your brother's keeper, be your sister's keeper, which is what our master also is teaching us, the Sutra, which is so nice. I really love that vision because we united by love and understanding and respecting one another. Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, guidance, Derek, guidance, Brother Sean, for your wonderful answer. Yeah, any more other questions for our Brother Sean here? If there's no question, then we will move on to invite our prospected Brother Joe Huang to give his insight on tonight's episode. Hi, Brother Joe Huang, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Brother Sean, and thank you, Brother Robert. I think Sean is the perfect person to give tonight's sharing. especially the question from Sister Erica about the different religious beliefs. I like to add to that. I think Brother Sean shared with us today the stories of the housings that we have helped built, or Tzu Chi or Master had helped built, even though she herself did not have housing or adequate housing at the time. And I think that Brother Sean talked about the unwavering will that Master has in order to provide for those that are in more trouble or are more in need than she is. I think there is a certain level of faith and belief that Master knew that even though that she doesn't have an adequate housing for herself, but there is faith that Master has in all the other people. And I think that is a very important message. Master at the time, even though that she might not have all the resources, she believes that there is love in all people and all walks of life. Whether you are an Aborigine, or you are someone who is well off, or you are someone who is just a very simple, normal person, working their way up, they're working their way up in a society. It doesn't really matter who it is. I think Master has this faith that everyone has that love and everybody will contribute. So I think other than the fact that Master has this compassion, she also has a very strong belief and faith that everyone else too, and that all it needs is a key to unlock that compassion that seems to be locked away. And Master teaches us and tells us, what is that key? How do you possess the key to unlock everybody's compassion that might be hidden? And that's what Tzu Chi is doing. It's unlocking that potential, that compassionate potential that we all have, that we might not know that we have. And that's what faith is. You believe it without anybody proving to you that you have it or anybody else have it, right? And I think ultimately, it's not so much religion. It's not so much which God you believe, but Master wants us to have faith. Whatever it is, there are things that you cannot see and there are things that you cannot prove. But do you believe? And ultimately, whether it is a deity, whether it is a superior being, ultimately, it's the same as an idea. Compassion exists within all of us. Love exists within all of us. If you believe in something that you cannot see and you cannot prove, then also you will be able to believe in something that is compassion, knowing that's there, and then allow us to be able to find the key to unlock for everybody else. And therefore, I think it's not so much religion. I believe that Master wants us to have that faith in human beings, faith in sentient beings, faith in compassion, in that we all have that. And sometimes that's the hardest to have. When you are needing something, some help, and everybody seems to turn away, how is it that you're able to maintain that faith? And that's why Master says it's not so much the religious belief, it's how strong your faith is. How strong do you believe in this something that it seems to not be able to see, but you believe it? And so any moment in Tzu Chi, we're always taught, to believe in the kindness of everybody else, to believe in the goodness in everybody else, to even know that it's there, even though the other person might not show it. But Master taught us, no, we should believe it. We should know that it's there. We can uncover it. And Master taught us the keys and the ways to uncover. And the Sutra of Infinite Meanings tells us of infinite ways to uncover everyone's love and everyone's compassion. And for those people that have already shown their compassion and love, you are now holding the key to unlock other people's compassion and love. And that's what infinite also means, is that we have infinite ways to unlock other people. And now there are an infinite number of keys waiting to unlock infinite number of people that's waiting to be unlocked. And I think that's what this is. So thanks to Sister Erica, that's exactly right. People in Hualien, people in Africa, people in all over the place, they are now being unlocked, not because of religion, but because they are now touched by people holding the key. And that key is very often compassion and love. And then that's the key that can unlock your and other people's compassion and love. So I think in Tzu Chi's world, that's really what it is. Have you unlocked your own? And then have you unlocked other people's? Have you been expanding that compassion and love? And through Master's teaching, we're seeing that she, as an example, that she shows us that we can and we should. And now we are doing this through across different borders, across different religions and different spectrums. And we're doing this because Master showed us that we can do this too. She believed in us, even though we didn't know that we can. She had faith in us. Now we have to have faith in ourselves, and we have to have faith in other people in unlocking their potential of compassion and love. So thanks to Brother Sean for tonight's sharing about the housing. The housing is only one display of unlocking this potential. And once we've seen it, we are now more confident that we can do it, and we're now more capable of doing the same act of compassion, and we have learned it. So that now we acquire one more key, and we can always use this key to unlock other people. Just like right now in Nepal, they're using the same key to unlock more people's compassion and love, capacity for love. And I think that's what this world needs. So thanks to Brother Robert and the team for arranging and organizing this wonderful study group. And thanks to always be inviting wonderful, wonderful presenters to present these stories and the teachings. And I wish that all of us can have something tonight, gain something from the stories that were shared by Brother Sean. And I think that has been a very wonderful and very eventful evening for all of us to learn. Thank you and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Yeah, Canon so much, Brother Joe Huang, for the wonderful summary. And then maybe I just want to add on to what Brother Joe has mentioned. Of course, this was already mentioned by Brother Sean. I think the selflessness displayed by our Sangren, our master, even though she don't have a home, but she wanted to build a home for others. This really sacrificing herself, always very selfless, sacrificing herself, sacrificing her time for us, So I think she's the greatest role model of all. Yeah. Okay. Brothers and sisters, before we end, can we all take everyone convenient, please on your video. We will take a group photo before we end our session. Everyone, please on your video. Sister Lily, can you please do the honor to take the group photo?
Okay. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Kanan to everyone for joining us today. Please remember to join us again next month. And of course, tomorrow, in fact, we are also meeting up again tomorrow morning. I don't know whether Sister Erica, you can join us. We will have the
Yeah.
Saturday Huali session. Yeah.
The
Together.
same link.
Yeah.
Maybe you can help me with, you can tell Sister Archie to send for me the link. I
Yeah.
can join.
Okay, please join us as well. I think tomorrow also we have some very brother Sean and together with another brother Jie An and also brother Joe Huang. Okay.
All right.
So before we conclude for today, let us offer three sincere bows to Buddha and Master Chen Yen. Please rise, our palms together. First bow, second bow, and third bow. We offer a bow to the Buddha masters who can join us for today. Okay, may we all continue to walk the Bodhisattva path with diligence, cultivating both wisdom and blessings together. And so good night, everybody. We look forward to see you again. Okay, take care. Bye-bye. And then
Bye. Good night.
Bye, everybody.
bye.
Bye.
And good night.